Today on T.D. Jakes, it's Ask the Bishop. A family business in crisis turns to T.D. for guidance.
Success is inconvenient. You have no choice but to grow up. Today, we are going to have a conversation. Yes, you can stop this. Are you sorry? I'll tell you one thing. It's worth fighting. Look at that. Look at that. Look at who's cheering for you. The village is with you. Woo-hoo. Woo. Welcome. I want to welcome you. Today I'm answering the village's biggest questions on relationship, parenting, and money. The village is my community, whether that's here in the studio, you are watching at home, or anyone who checks in with us on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. I want to bring us all together so that we can have conversations and exchange some very important ideas. Thousands of you posted questions to me, and one popular topic was family, how to get along. So when I saw this question, I knew it would resonate with you. It comes from Dana Cody, the owner and a family-run business that is going through some changes. She says her family works hard and fights even harder, so much so that they have a new reality show on Oxygen called Boss Nails. First, let's see what's really going on in her life. Lord have mercy. Take a look at this.
Focusing on growing the business always takes a back seat to managing my crazy crew.
Wait a minute, what the hell is wrong with y'all?
Why do you have such an attitude?
Oh, gosh.
Paige may be my cousin, but I'm her boss. She must respect that.
You're the only person that I trust to run this. You're all that I have right here.
Get your shit together. It's either my way or the highway.
This is gonna be some serious nail tech wars.
Well, welcome Dana, her cousin Paige, and her brother Alexis. We're glad to have you here today. Dana says Alexis is lazy and rude to customers. Is that true?
No, that's not true at all.
It's
Really?
true.
No.
It's true.
It's true. You can say it already.
Okay, I can see it already.
My mother was a nail tech for 22 years, and she was a single parent, and she opened our first business, Tippoe Toes, in 2007, and her whole thing was, it's based off family. Mm-hmm. And she brought her children, myself, Paige, and Alexis, and brought us up in the nail industry and in the business, and that's all really we know. In 2011, she passed away from leukemia, and since she's been gone, I am running the business alone, and I'm trying to share her legacy with my family so we can make it big and do things and fulfill her dream, and I just don't feel like we're seeing eye to eye.
I understand you tried to open up another branch, a second nail store, and it was with the not good, huh?
My mother...
But you blame her for it failing.
She blamed both of them.
I
She
blame
blames
both
both
of them for it because, you know, my mother's dying wish was like, let's do this. Let's take Tippoe Toes to another level. That's literally what she said on her deathbed. And I worked really hard. I saved up. I invested a lot of money. And we went over to L.A. And I basically gave them, you know, keys to their future. Because that's what I want. I want to see us all financially successful so we don't have to struggle and worry about money issues.
I get, Dana, that that's what you want, but Alexis, is that what you really want? Is that your dream for the family?
Yeah, that is. It is my dream for the family. It was my mom's dream before she passed. And she you know, passed it on to my sister. And I would like to help my sister out.
Paige, what do you think is the main reason that you all don't connect? Where's the disconnect?
I honestly, Bishop, I believe it's communication.
It's like when we went to California, and she didn't really explain to us our roles, and you know, in the shop. She wanted us to
Run the shop?
Run the shop, basically take over the shop.
Yeah.
I mean, we grew up doing this. This is all that we all know. My first job, I'm scrubbing toes. Same for him, same for her. So maybe I didn't really communicate and say, do this, do that, but I just figured it's a given. We should know this like the back of our hand. You know how mom wanted this business to be ran, so I really shouldn't have to tell you what to do. You should know what to do.
She's right.
You're saying she's right,
Yes.
but that didn't happen, so what went wrong?
I honestly agree with Dana. I do, but I was too young. That was my first time being away from home, you know, and she wasn't there majority of the time. We didn't go hand in hand. It's one thing to say, okay, I'm going to do this, and this is how we're going to do it, and it's not
Girl,
done like
let me tell
that.
you what they've been saying about you.
They be saying
they've
a
been
lot.
talking about you like a dog. Listen, they say you are demanding and that you are too critical. Do you think that's true?
I am. But what they have to understand...
Well, y'all right then.
Yeah, I mean, I'll take that. But what you guys have to understand is, like, that's how my mother was to me. I could never do anything right. She was hard on me. And maybe she knew she wouldn't be here long. I lost my mom when I was 24. You know, a kid, a baby. I'm still growing, I'm still learning. So it's like I'm showing them tough love. Because what if something happens to me?
I'm very passionate about this. I have my own family business. My dad was an entrepreneur, trained me working for him. His mother was an entrepreneur, so I get it. I understand the dynamics of what you're going through and what you're dealing with. When you get home, does that drama come back home with you?
At one point, because we all were living together, you know, for a while, I don't want to go home. You know, I didn't want to go home because it's like when you have an argument with your sibling at work, you take that energy home with you, and it just is destroying our bond. And I know, like, that's not what my mom would want, and it hurts.
What is most important to you, who you are after work or who you are at work?
Well, according to my sister, who I am at work.
So you feel devalued as a part of the family because the whole relationship is about business.
To a certain extent.
To a certain extent.
Yeah.
Do you both feel that way?
Yes, you can say that that business is business and personal is personal, but when you're around someone 24/7, there's no such thing. Honestly, as she said, when you go at it with someone at work and you have to go home to the same thing, there's no separation. You can't let it go.
I want to give you some tips, some rules that you can use for working with family. I want to share it with my viewing audience as well as the village here. Some tips, because it is not easy to work with family in these types of situations. Number one, when you have a disagreement, focus on the issue and not the individual. Okay? If you can isolate you're late from work from grandma never did like you. You know, you get on my nerves, you buck tooth like your daddy. You know, I'm serious, I'm just teasing. But you know, you don't personalize the issue. Keep the main thing the main thing. Number two, don't bring work home with you. Don't bring it home with you, because even if it's a good thing that happened at work, you lose the gift of having a sister and brother and give it up for having an employee. It's really not worth it. Number three, find a good fit. If it doesn't work and the family needs to be moved, don't just kick them to the curb. Find a good fit for them so that they can have a future, even if it's not with you. Okay? That way they still feel like family even when the job is over. Give them some love. Do you work with family? As you can see, it can be complicated, but we'll get down to the truth with Alexis and his family when we come back.
Coming up next.
When your parents go, it's like moving a tree. You never know how much shade the tree provided until they cut it down.
Not just the 6 colors that you have in your station.
Lavender, pink, pink.
Listen, you see this? Why do you have such an attitude?
Because you're like hounding me instead of just saying it and I'll get it.
Do me a favor. Do not pack your attitude with this, all right?
If they weren't related to you, would you fire them?
She would.
He answered for you. So if she would fire you if you weren't related, let me ask you this question. Are you the kind of employee that you would hire? Your face told me a whole lot, bro. You just told me you would fire you. We got a situation. We got a situation going up in this village today.
Well, Bishop, I myself, I can say that I mess up, but I wouldn't fire me because I feel like I'm a key person in this business. As me being a nail technician, part-time manager, assistant, a friend, I put in a lot of work.
You do work hard. That's why I do have you where you are. But that's why I'm so hard on you. I feel like it's like because I know I have this job or I know that's my cousin, I'm going to do what I want to do because I'm not going anywhere.
So
and it
you
hurts.
feel like you're being taken advantage of.
Yeah, and it hurts.
So I hear several dynamics going on here. One of is a cry for training, and the response is, I'm giving you what my mother gave me, which may not be working for them. Because you are not her, and they are not you. Okay? That's one of the things. You cannot get what you expect if you don't inspect. And it's very important that there is some accountability in your relationship. When I listen at what Alexis, not so much what he said, but how he looked, okay, it said to me, I know there are areas that I could improve, and I know that there are areas I should improve. So you have to realize if you're going to inherit this vision, you can't treat it like a job. You have to go the extra mile. You have to go overboard. You have to go above and beyond, not just for her, but for you. Somebody just handed you a business. You've been given a tremendous gift. And if you don't see the value of what it can be, then you'll discard it about the inconvenience. Success is inconvenient. It costs something. That's why everybody doesn't get it. You have to, am I right? I want to dig down into this because I think that there are several dynamics here. I don't think you see yourself as in charge. I think you're still waiting on your mother to come back. I think you see your sister as a substitute teacher. And when you got substitute teacher, it's recess and the kids go to play. And I think you have not adjusted to the fact that you have to face a new reality. That the disciplinarian that normally could call everybody to attention is not here. You will have to realize you have no choice but to grow up. No choice but to grow up. No choice but to grow up. I know that hurts. I know that hurts. Your mother was probably the glue that held everybody together. The glue is gone. It changes the dynamics of the relationship. So there's nobody there to whom everybody respects enough to be accountable. Right. And nobody's had a chance to grieve. Nobody's had a chance to grieve.
My mom passed. I'm still trying to find myself. Still trying to find myself. Like, going to school, was playing football at one point. That didn't work out. Going through it with mother and my child. It had a lot to do with it. Thing is...
And you're hurting.
Yeah, I'm hurting.
I see it right now.
Trying to hold back my tears.
That's okay. That's okay. It's a grown man cry. Jesus wept, baby. See, trying to hold all of that back, it comes out in all kinds of other ways. When you try to control grief, it starts coming out in disorders and behavioral dysfunctions and all kind of drama.
She's the number one person that I love, so I take it out on her a lot. So we get into it a lot.
So you're angry because she's not your mother. You're angry because your mother's gone.
Yeah, I'm angry.
You're angry because you haven't grieved. You're angry because men are much more comfortable with expressing anger than we are pain. But behind the anger is the pain, and you got to deal with the pain. Because it's time for you to stand up, man. This is not a dress rehearsal. This has happened. Nobody can change it. And I know it's unfair because you weren't through being a kid. But when your parents go, it's like moving a tree. You never know how much shade the tree provided until they cut it down. And there you are out in the hot sun for the first time. And you're tripping out and you're freaking. But you have to understand, your mother gave you a gift that few people get. She gave you a dream, she gave you a vision, and she gave you a chance. She gave you a chance. The question becomes, what are you going to do with what you've been given? This is a gift to you. She gave you your own business. You ran over top of it? Don't you understand that you have a responsibility to make this work on behalf of your mother, on behalf of your community, on behalf of all the people who never had anybody hand them anything ever, not once? This is real. We may be on television, but I don't care if the cameras stop. This is about family. It's about life. When you manage your family, there's a different dynamic that comes in the process of dealing with your family, because their personal feelings present themselves at work in such a way that you can't hardly separate one from the other until they become mature enough to see one from the other. But what you're doing is imitating your mother, and you haven't found yourself.
Right.
You understand? You got to find your rhythm. You lost your rhythm. That's what happens when the one you look to goes away. You can't find out who you are. Alexis, why do you feel like you're holding on to the past?
Because she was my everything. She was my best friend. Like, she was the person that, when I was in school, I would call and talk about my day. And, like, didn't have anything to talk about. She would just sit on the phone with me. And just, you know, anything I'm doing, or I just seen a big rat go in the sewer, we'll laugh about it.
Right.
Anything, like. But her and my brother, I'm the only child that was with her, like, my whole life. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, my sister had to go with my grandma, mm-hmm. and my brother had to go with his parents at one point in their life. But I'm the only one that was with her my entire life.
I know what
and I'm the baby. So
yeah, I know what that means. I get you. I get you.
Like, when she passed, it was like, what now?
Yeah.
Who do I talk to? Who do I go to?
Yeah. Your role just changed. You say she was all you had. That's not true, because all she had, she poured in you. She poured it in you. You got to find it. You got to find it. But you will never find it until you let go of your little boy. Who you were to her, you will never see that again. But out of it will come the man she put in you to be. It's in there. It's in there. It's in there. I want you to receive this in your heart. I want you to receive this in your heart. This is a gift to you. It's time to put your big boy pants on. It's time to stand up and be a man, be a woman, and honor your mother by keeping her rhythm. Thank you, Dana. Thank you, Alexis. Thank you, Paige. Boss Nails airs Tuesday nights, 9 p.m. on Oxygen, and you got to check it out. It's drama, it's power, it's real life. You can tell it's some drama up in here, okay? And if you work with your family and have found great solutions to common problems, the village wants to know. I want you to go to our Facebook site and tell me about what's going on with you and what is your dream for your family.